Okay, so I believe you guys can see the PPT. All right, thank you very much, good Ambassador. All right, education. So let's start the presentation for today. Again, I will welcome you all from different part of the world. So we are in our presentation for today on Cary Pact. So Cary Pact is a decentralized supercomputing protocol based on the BOT chain, and it's a physical computing power. Talking about BOT chain, it's a new public chain that's been created, has been born, which is owned by us in Cary Pact. And Cary Pact will be the first ecological project that is being built in our own public chain. Right? So I'll be talking more detail about it in our presentation for today. Now, today's content, we are going to cover about 6 parts over here. First will be the public chain. We're going to talk a little bit about what this public chain is all about. And then we're going to go into the blockchain history. And then we're going to talk about the advantages of our BOT chain, all right, which is our own BOT chain, which was been launched in our summit, which happened on the 29th of March in Hong Kong, all right, which attended by more than 4,000 members in different parts of the world, more than 40 over countries. And then we're going to go into the tokenomics. We have 2 parts of tokenomics over here. The first one will be the CA, which is Cary Pact tokenomics. And then the second one will be the boot chain or boot coin tokenomics. All right. And then we have the marketing plan, which will be covering the 2-part marketing plan, which is the passive income and also the active income. And then we'll talk a little bit about the risk assessment. So that's about the content for today. Now let's go into the first part of it, which is the public chain. Okay, so what is mean by public chain? What is a public chain? All right, so Ethereum, Solana, BNB, all those things are a public chain. All right, now the main question will come into the picture is how to identify whether it is a public chain or not. Correct? I believe most of you all have this question, right? Now, 2 ways to identify whether it's a public chain or not. All right, first thing is through the gas fees. Remember, when you're doing a transaction, you need to pay a gas fee in crypto world, correct? So the gas fees that you pay, those coins, that is a public chain, okay? I believe you guys are very familiar with Ethereum, Tron, Matic, BNB, Solana, and so on, correct? All those coins are a public chain, all right? Another way to identify whether it's a public chain or not is through the transaction ID, which is they must have their own explorer, all right, or scan or explorer, right, in their public chain ecosystem. So that's another way for you to identify. Remember, when you do a transaction, when the transaction is complete in the crypto world, you will given a transaction ID or TRX ID, correct? And when you click that, it goes to the explorer of that particular public chain. So in Ethereum, we have the etherscan.io, BNB, we have bhescan.com, and then in TRX, we have the tron.org, correct? So all those things are a way for you to identify whether it's a public chain or not, okay? So that's a simple way of these 2 particular things for you to identify whether it's a public chain or not. Now, as we all know, the legendary of 100x, 1000x of these coins are born from a public chain ecosystem. I believe you guys will be agreeing that with me, correct? And then there's also have the public chain as a source of value, which is larger than the ecosystem and the greater for the value. And for your information, if you see the entire total market cap of our crypto market, right, it's about 3 trillion US dollar, correct? In the 3 trillion US dollar, almost about 1.87 trillion is being covered by the public chain ecosystem coins, right? So that's huge. It is contributing towards the blockchain industry itself. Okay, so it's very important for us to get note. And for your information, boot chain is also a public chain because we are building the boot chain by using our gas fees, all right, which is our first ecosystem will be Cary Pact. So each time when you do the transaction, right, you will be using BOT coin or boot coin as the gas fee. Okay, so there's going to be something very unique, new opportunities that are coming in for us to make another 10x, 100x, or maybe 1000x for the upcoming years. All right, now let's go to the second part of the presentation of today, which is the history of the blockchain itself. As we all know, Bitcoin started in 2008, correct? And the 1.0 version of it was a public ledger, which is BTC public chain, and it's a decentralized, but you can't build any ecosystem in the public chain itself because it's meant for storage value, correct? And then born the 2.0 version, which is the Ethereum, which comes under the smart contract. All right. In smart contract, when it came up with Ethereum, okay, you can build ecological project or ecosystem like ML project, ROI platforms, Mimi token, NFT, GameFi, SocialFi, and Metaverse. And more things are coming in now with DeFi projects and so on. Correct? So all these things can be built in a public chain, especially in Ethereum. And even until today, even though there's a lot of new public chain that's coming up every single day, we still have the Ethereum as the ecological king in the public chain itself. Okay, but the only leakage with Ethereum is the speed is getting reduced day by day, all right, and the gas fees is increasing day by day as well. All right, so these are the two major things that being as a drawback for Ethereum public chain. And now we already have the new 3.0 version whereby it's running with Solana, which they are focusing on the speed, BNB, TRX, and also Matic. They are focusing on the lowest gas fees. And we have Polkadot who are focusing on a cross-chain. So what is cross-chain about? So cross-chain means you can transfer your token, your USDT, let's say is in the Ethereum chain, you can transfer to Tron, okay? Or you can do it a cross-chain to even BNB or Matic, all right? So Polkadot public chain is offering that as a cross-chain. And then we have Uniswap who are offering the DEX, which is a decentralized exchange whereby they have their own liquidity. It is not a centralized exchange, but it's a decentralized exchange whereby you don't need to do any KYC over there, but they have their own liquidity pool for you to swap whatever token that you wanted. Okay, all these public chains have their own uniqueness in the market, yeah? And this uniqueness that they have in the market, they are promoting that to all the developers and also the programmers outside that to create ecology or project in their public chain. Why are they hinting all these programmers and developers to use their public chain? It's because they want all these users who's going to come into the project to hold their own coin like BNB, Solana, Ethereum. So when a lot of people are holding all these coins for their gas fees, what will happen to the price of the coin? Definitely is going to go up. A lot of people is going to hold the particular coin, all right? So that's what we're going to do with our BOT, all right, which I'll be explaining more detail in the next upcoming slides. Now, let me show you some example of these public chain coins that have made tremendous growth from the day they launch, okay? I'm not talking about the total peak of their career, of their coin, but I'm just talking about 1 year, less than 1 year. What is the growth of the coin from the day they launch? Example, Solana. They launched it in 2020 with $1 per coin. In 2021, the price has skyrocketed $259 per coin. So that's about 259x over there, all right? And then talk about BNB, 2017, it's only launched at 10 cents or 0.1. Okay, in 2018, which is less than 1 year, the price has skyrocketed to $24. So $24 with 10 cents started, that's around 240x over there again. And then in Uniswap, in 2020, 47 cents per coin, and it rose up to $45, which is about 100x over there in 2021. So all these public chain coins have proved that they have made big home run less than 1 year or less than 2 years from the launch on their launching date. So what I'm going to tell you guys today is the boot chain is coming, another opportunity for you guys that the same thing will be happening back again, and you have the opportunity to make the same big money through our BOT coin. All right. Now let's talk about in 2026, what will be the next revolution? We're talking about boot chain. All right. In 2026, boot chain. What's so special about boot chain? Boot chain, they have their speed, they have their low gas fees, they have their own cross chain, and they also have their own DEX, which is a decentralized exchange. You see, we are promoting all these features in one public chain so that we can compete into the market. Right now, we have the famous one, obviously, in Solana, Matic, and also BNB, correct? But how to compete with them? Because we want the programmers or developers to use our public chain so that we can have more user base who will be holding the BOT coin in order to pay for the gas fees. At the same time, the ecology will be going up, and also the price of the coin also will be going up. So now we have two major selling point over here to the programmers and the developers who want to use our blockchain as their ecological project. All right. So first thing is the magic block AI. So this is just a talking term of magic that I'm using so that it's easy for people to understand. All right, but we will have the full PPT presentation, which will be given to the leaders. You guys can get it back from your leaders. Yeah. So my PPT that I'm using right now is a simplified version so that it's easy for the people joining the Zoom to understand straightforward, and it's easy for them to take lead from there. All right. But if you want to have more detail on the BOT chain, on the CaryPact and the details and everything, all this presentation will be given to you guys from your leaders. All right, you can have the full PPT from there. All right. Now let's come back to the Magic Block AI. What's so special about Magic Block AI? All right, using the AI algorithm with the blockchain system. All right, using our robot agent AI, they can create a project. All right, a simple project with less than 30 minutes. All right. So that's what we are selling to the programmers or the developers outside there to take the opportunity to join us right now and use these particular features that we're having in order to save their time. You see, for a developer or developer or programmer to create a project, it's going to take them about 3 weeks to 6 weeks or maybe 8 weeks, all right, to complete the entire debug systems and everything. All right, but with our Magic Block AI, can you imagine the programmers can save their time by 90% of their time just in one day. They can able to create a simple coding things and everything, and the debug system is also being provided by using our AI block agent. All right. So as you all know nowadays, all the codings it's already in open source. You can get the coding details. If you put a smart contract in the av.ai, you can get all other projects source coding. All right. So now even the programmers can use to do a hybrid system whereby they can pick and choose different projects by using the open source code and then embed it into our Magic Block AI to come with a final outcome. All right. So these are the major things that we are focusing to promote to our programmers and also developers. All right. So this is the first thing. Second thing is, can you imagine gas fees that we are collecting? That's going to be a very big amount that will be coming up on each project that is being developed. Correct. So can you imagine when we offer to the developers and also the programmers, all right, whatever gas fees that will be collected from the ecosystems rated by them, 80% of the gas fees will be returned back to the developers. So this is another selling point for them to look into developing or creating a project in our public chain, which is our blockchain. All right. So these are two major selling points that we're selling, and we also have upcoming new good news that coming in. We have a public fund, which is we are preparing about 50 million US dollar for those who want to develop a project in our public chain. Then they can submit their proposal and then they can request for the fund to create a project whereby they'll be given a startup of $30,000 for each project to be created. All these things are coming up soon in our website, things and everything, so you can get details from there very soon, especially if you're a programmer or developer who are watching or are listening to the Zoom today, right? You can get all the details inside there. Okay. Now let's move on to our next presentation. Okay. So as you can see here, right, our BOT coin or our BOT chain distribution of tokenomics. All right. So we have a total supply of 150 million. Okay. So comparing to the current ecosystem of public chains, most of them are talking about billions of supply, but we are just very limited to 150 million, and the native token is BOT. All right, and this is the tokenomics. As you can see, 70% of it is being mined through a physical mining machine, which if you see in terms of our official Telegram group, you can see how our mining machine looks like. All right, and then the remaining 30%, 5% is for the institutional investors, 13% for the ecosystem developers, 5% for the exchange of airdrop, all right, so airdrop things and everything, and 7% for the operation and also the tech team. Now, all this while, I was explaining that we are targeting all the developers and programmers to come and develop or create a project in our public chain. So now, why are we here in our Zoom session today? I believe we are more than 100 people in our Zoom session today, and I believe 95 to 97% of us are a normal people. We are not a developer. We are not a programmer, correct? Maybe the remaining 3% or 2% is a developer or programmer, right? So what are we doing here? So we are here looking for opportunity. We are here looking for how to invest and how to make money, correct? So we will be joining ourselves into CaryPact. So now, what is CaryPact? CaryPact is the first benchmark ecological project that is being built in our own BOT chain, which is our own public chain. Now, let's talk about the tokenomics of CaryPact. So CaryPact has 210 million tokens, all right, in total supply. And out of that, 10 million is being reserved for the swap in the DEX for the initial swapping purpose, which is 10 million. And 200 million will be coming out as a node distribution, all right, as a node distribution into the computing power network output. Now, talking about the node distribution, we have a daily emission of 40,000 tokens that will be released on a daily basis, okay, for the first 2 years. So for the first 2 years, it will be releasing total of 40,000 tokens per day. Okay. Now, what happens after 2 years? After 2 years, the total supply will be reduced by 10%. All right. So it happens every 2 years. It will reduce by 10% for you to fully distribute the node token of CaryPact, which is CA. It will take you up to 22 years. Okay, you will be getting up to 22 years. All right, and then now this is the detailed subscription or detailed calculation of how the 40,000 tokens will be segregated on a daily basis. So 42% goes to the hash rate mining, which is 16,800 CA token. 18% goes to the POS output, which is the stacking protocol, which is 7,200. All right. And 35% goes to the dynamic reward pool. So what is dynamic reward pool? It is the active income. It means when you build the networking, you have a team that you are moving this business, then this is where you focus in, which is the 35%, which they're releasing 14,000 tokens per day, and 3% for the DAO community members. Those who achieve the ranking of V7 to V10, you will be considered as the DAO community members, and you will be sharing the piece of cake, which is 1,200 CA token that will be released on a daily basis. Okay? All right. And then 2% is for the foundation, which is roughly about 800 CA token per day. Now let's go into the most important part of the presentation of today, which is how to participate. All right. How do I get involved in CaryPact? What is the returns and how the calculations are? Now it's very simple. Let's focus on this particular slide right now. As you can see here, the minimum entry is $100 for you to join. And let's put it $1 is equivalent to 1 hash rate, but the calculation is different right now because you're already up running for the past 13 days. Yes, CaryPact just started 13 days ago. All right, so we have our own calculation for those who are joining later, but no worries, you still get the equivalent hash rate for those who joined the early days. All right, so that one will be explaining in other particular things on our training session. Now let's put it as $1 is equivalent to 1 hash rate. Okay, now you have, please take your calculators, right? So that let's do this mathematics together so that we can understand how are we making our money on a daily basis. Okay, now 16,800 is the CA that produced for the static mining or the node distribution. Yeah, so 16,800 is fixed for the next 2 years. Correct. Now your own investment, it is called as the individual hash rate. So example, if you're investing 10,000 or you're stacking $10,000 is equivalent to 10,000 hash rate divided by the company's total network hash rate. All right. So if you look into our DAPPS, which is Web3 wallet in our app.carypact.com, if you log into your account, if you have your account, then you can look into the DAPPS. All right. Go to the menu, all right, click the mining data. You can see down there, you have the total network hash rate, which is 39 million right now. Okay, it is 39 million right now. Okay, give a minute. Somebody's trying to do something. Sorry. All right. So, sorry, my bad. Okay. So now take the calculator. Okay. So $10,000, which is equivalent to 10,000 hash rate. Okay. So 10,000 divided by 39 million. All right. So the current total hash rate of the company, okay, is 39 million. Then times that with 16,800 CA that's been produced on a daily basis. So you will be getting 4.3 CA per day. All right. Now, again, what is the price of CA per day? Okay. Now, what is the price of CA? CA at the current moment is trading at $28, and the boot coin is trading at $9.6 per coin. All right. Now, 28.3 is the current price of CA. If you check in your DAPPS or the website, okay. So you've been getting 4.3 CA token per day times that with times that with $28, you'll be getting about $120 per day. Okay. So now, are we getting this 4.3 CA token per day fixed? No. Okay. So it depends or it varies on a daily basis. All right. Because remember, 16,800 is fixed. All right. The individual hash rate is also fixed. It's also fixed. Right? Unless you plan to top up your own account or you invest more, then you'll get more computing power. If no means, it's also fixed, but the daily network hash rate is increasing automatically day by day, all right, by the company because it's a total deposit, correct? Now, once you get the CA, right, that is the fixed. That's not a fixed CA that you're getting. It is varies based on daily basis, okay? Now, if you want to earn more CA on a daily basis, so basically what you can do is, all right, what you can do is you can do the second passive income, which is the stacking, right? You can do the stacking pool, right? So in the stacking pool, what you can do is whatever CA that is being produced on a day-to-day, all right, you can do one-click stake, whereby you'll be earning up to 1% of a daily compounding interest on your CA that been produced. Okay, so you'll be earning daily from that. Sorry guys, I think somebody is doing some error things. Let's just give a minute. Okay, let me disable this particular thing. Yeah. Yeah. Sorry guys, I have to do some disabling, all right, so that the people can't share anything or do anything. All right. Sorry guys. All right. So let's come back to the important part. As I mentioned to you guys, the passive income, which is your first income, how you're going to make your returns. So again, the individual hash rate, example, I give you just now 10,000 divided by the total network hash rate from the company is around 39 million right now. Okay. And times that with 16,800, you'll be getting somewhere around 4.3 CA token per day. And then times that with the current price of CA is around $28, which is trading in our DEX. All right, you will get somewhere around $120. All right. Again, as I mentioned to you, the return of CA per day is not fixed. Okay, it varies based on every day because the total network hash rate will be increasing day by day. Okay, so obviously you'll be getting lesser CA day to day if you're not topping up your own individual hash rate, correct? But what you can do to earn more is you can do one-click stake into our staking pool, whatever CA that you're producing. You can do one staking into our staking pool, whereby you can earn up to 1% on a daily basis, whereby it will be automated compounded. And if you want to take out from the staking pool, you can do it anytime that you wanted. It is flexible of entry and exit. It's just that you need to wait T+1 settlement, which is you need to wait 24 hours in order to unstake your CA that's in the staking pool. And then what you can do is you can go back to our DEX to sell your CA to BOT coin. All right. Whereby when you do the conversion or swap, there will be charges of 5% when you're converting CA to BOT coin. All right. The 5%, 1.8% from the 5% goes back to the liquidity reflow into the staking pool, which is the 7,200 CA, right? So that they will be increasing day by day. And 3.2% goes to the node account holders and also the DAO community. For those who have purchased the node account before CaryPact started. Congratulations, because you'll be earning daily from this transaction. Whoever swapping in the system, you guys will be earning a little bit part of the percentage from the node account, depending on what package you purchase on the node account. All right. Now, this is the two part of earning a passive income when you join today. All right. First thing is the stacking mining and also the stacking pool. All right. This is the two part we will be earning. Now, let's go into the active income. Now, we're coming to the marketing plan of the active income. The first part, we have the dynamic team reward, so which already split into two. First part is the dynamic team reward. Second part is the dynamic ranking. Okay, so we have two parts over here. Now, let's talk about the first part, which is the dynamic team reward. All right, which is they have allocated 7,000 CA token per day. Okay, now how to do this calculation is from your personal small leg. All right, so what you need to do is you need to calculate this based on your personal small leg. So let me give you some example. Okay, you can even start from minimum 2 legs. Yeah, let's say you have 2 legs. Okay, one leg you have 30,000 sales, another leg you have 20,000 sales. You only have 2 legs, A leg and B leg. Okay, A leg have a sales of 30,000, B leg have a sales of 20,000. Now let's do this calculation. The smaller leg here is 20,000, correct? Because A leg is the strong leg, which is 30,000. So the system doesn't calculate that. So they only take the small leg, which is 20,000. All right, divide by the total network staff leg from the company. So in this case, I'm just putting example as 50 million. All right, I'm just putting. All right. So you will know your own calculation when you get on a daily basis. Times that with 7,000 CA that been produced on a daily basis, whereby you'll be getting 2.8 CA per day. Again, how much the price of CA today is around $28. That comes to $78 that you'll be earning from your networking commission. Now, there's a rules that being set in terms of earning this dynamic team reward. Okay, something latest update that I have, which is your personal stacking must be more than $300. Okay, your personal stacking must be more than $300. All right, and then your smaller leg sales must be more than $3,000. Okay, then only you can start earning from the dynamic team reward. All right, so make sure you guys clear in that. Yeah, so make sure update the Zoom session on a daily basis or time to time, because there will be new updates that's coming in so that we can be equip ourselves with the latest information. Okay, so that's on the first part of the income, which is the dynamic team reward. Now let's talk about the dynamic ranking income, which is we have V1 up to V10. All right, the company have allocated another 7,000 on the dynamic ranking income. Whereby for the V1, your personal stacking must be more than $500, and your small leg sales must be more than $10,000. Then you will be ranked as V1. Now, what you get when you go up as ranked as V1, you will be going into the reward pool, correct? In the reward pool, 30% is being awarded for you to be achieving the V1 ranking. Now, let's take the calculator back again. Let's do some calculation. From 7,000 pool that you're getting daily CA, times it with the 30% reward pool, right? 30%, which is you're getting 2,100 CA per day. Now, 2,100 CA that been allocated for the V1 pool. Now, how many people qualified in V1? Let's say from the company we have 500 people who qualified in V1. Then the 2,100 will be divided by 500 people. That means you'll be getting 4.2 CA per day. Alright, and later part I'll be showing you another slide whereby you can see you what is the estimated income if you earn in V1 up to V10. Alright, but now let's look into the calculation so that we have a clear picture. Now, if you want to go in terms of V2 ranking, your personal stacking must be more than $1,000. That means you just need to top up another 500, and your weaker leg or small leg team sales must be more than 30,000. All right, and you will enjoy the 10% reward pool. 10% from where? From the 7,000, which is 700. So again, take the calculator, 700 CA token divide by, let's say in V2, we only have about 200 people who qualified. That means you'll be getting 3.5 CA token per day. All right. Now, once you achieve the ranking of V2, all right, you will be still entitled for the income in V1 as well. So you still own the share in V1. All right. So you'll be getting two income, V1 up to V2, alright? Now, let's say you're going up in terms of V6, alright? The personal stacking is $4,000, and your small leg sales must be more than 1.6 million, and your reward pool is 10%. So can you imagine once you go to V6 ranking, you will be still earning from V1, V2, V3, V4 up to V6. Okay. Now once you go to V7 ranking, right, you will be getting another additional income that we call as the Tau community. Remember the 1,200 from the tokenomics, which I shared earlier, the 3%, 1,200. So this 1,200 token will be shared among all those people who qualified from V7 up to V10. If let's say now we have about 200 people in, all right, in V7 to V10. So 1,200 will be divided by 200. So that means each of you all will be getting 6 CA per day. All right. So that's how the calculation works. And for you to go up in V8 ranking, you need to have 2 V7. So it can be from your strong leg V7 and also your weak leg V7, 2 legs. You can still achieve as V8. Right. The same thing happens up to V10 as well. So that's the calculation. Now, once you achieve the V10 ranking, you still earn from V1 up to V10 food on a daily basis. So that's a very big amount that you'll be earning. And then you can swap the CA to BOT coin in our DAX. And then from BOT, you can transfer out in terms of USDT back again. All right. Now, this is the table of the active revenue income. What is the estimated that you'll be earning? So if you can see here for the V1, right, your daily outcome or daily income, okay, its estimation is around $40 per day. All right. So if you times that with 30 days, it's about 1,200 that you'll be earning passively from the active income. Yeah, I'm not including other revenues, just from the ranking bonus. All right. When you go up in V1 ranking, you'll be earning $40 per day. Remember, once you already have your team members sales coming in, there's no slowing down of your daily income, because the daily income will never stop. It will be going up day to day, right? So V1, $40, monthly about 1,002. V2, $100 per day, monthly income around 3,000. V3, 230, monthly about 7,000. Up to V10, you can earn up to 6 million in terms of your monthly revenue from your team bonus, right? So this is an estimation calculation on the active revenue table. All right, so I think so. We are coming to the conclusion of our presentation for today. Last but not least is the risk assessment. So this, normally I will do this as a closing base for our team, whereby when you're comparing a normal conventional pairing platforms or projects outside there, where they usually pair the USDT with their platform token, whereby the USDT is a fixed value, platform token always fluctuate. If the liquidity pool is higher or bigger, the price goes up. But when the pool is start to shrink or the price start to go down, a lot of people start to sell, the price of the token always goes down, and eventually they might not be there at all. So it's always a risk of 50-50 of getting involved on those platforms or projects. Whereas in CaryPact, we have a dual token model whereby CA is paired with the BOT coin, and then the BOT is paired with the USDT. Since it's a utility token, as you can see here, we have a 4-quadrant system, whereby when the price of CA and BOT goes up, you make money. And if the price of BOT goes up but CA goes down, you still make money. But if let's say the CA goes up but the BOT goes down, you still make money. And the last but not least, the worst case scenario is BOT and CA price goes down together, and then that is a system failure, or the entire ecosystem is already failed. Then there's a release of 25% and the winning rate of 75% compared to any other platforms out there. There's no such thing a platform of 100% risk-free. All right. Always remember, when investing your money or you're doing your staking, always put what you're willing to lose. So that's a very important financial statement, because I'm not here as a financial advisor to give you any hints or things. I'm just here as a consultant and a trainer of this particular project on Carrypact. I like to give you a heads up of always put what you're going to lose in any kind of investment. All right, so that's very important things to take note. All right, so I've done my entire presentation for today. Thank you very much for joining my presentation. If you have any questions, feel free to ask your questions right now. All right, so let me unmute the members. Okay, so you guys can unmute yourself if anybody have any questions.